Mukhtar is the most adorable German Shepherd I've ever met in my life. However, he's a German Shepherd and legally has to wear the muzzle when he's out in public. So we're gonna make it as a game so that the dog will want to wear the muzzle by the end of the training. It could be quite stressful for the dog to wear the muzzle, so we need to go step by step. Remember, it has to be the dog's decision to wear the muzzle. So we start with a treat, and every time the dog touch or look at the muzzle, he's gonna get rewarded. The second step is to get the dog to put his nose inside the muzzle and get a little treat every time he puts the nose in. What you do not want to do is buy a muzzle and put it on the dog on the same day. It requires at least a week before the dog can put the muzzle on. It took many days with Mukhtar to get him to the point you see in the video. We started with just the dog touching the muzzle, and only the day after we moved on to get the dog to put the nose in. The last thing is to get the dog to wear the muzzle, even for a couple of minutes, around the place. Book your free assessment with us. Go to www.kingofpaws.com. Many of us have dogs that love the attention. Sometimes they can't leave us go to the toilet without following us everywhere. Scooby, for example, would follow you everywhere, so teaching the dog to wait and stay for you, it could be quite challenging. So be patient, start slowly, and then try to increase the time. What you don't want to do is start where there are too many distractions so that the dog would move away as soon as you ask him to stay. It's also essential to use your body language. For this exercise, we ask him to stay. We put our hands in front of their nose and make sure you don't walk too far away at the beginning. You'll have to increase the time, slowly. Remember, always one command for one behavior. Stay and wait are quite different. In the stay, you always come back to the dog. In the wait, you always call the dog back to you. Book your free assessment with us. Go to www.kingofpaws.com. Recall "come when you are cold" is the most important thing you will teach your dog. Always start in a safe place. There is no point on starting in the dog park when there is too many distractions. Never call your dog to punish him. If the dog doesn't come back as soon as he's called, forget about it. Don't give out to the dog. We don't want to teach him that coming back means you're gonna get punished. It's actually the opposite. Coming back means you're gonna get something good. If you're worried of your dog running off as soon as you drop the lead or you take him off the lead, use a long line, a 5, 10, 15 meters long line, so you can actually go with the dog without letting the dog off the lead completely. It could happen that when you try this exercise, the dog decides to go in an opposite direction of where you are. Don't worry, he still loves you. Try again. Book your free assessment with us. Go to www.kingofpaws.com. The main reason why dogs jump up is because they are looking for your attention. So they are always gonna try to get attention, no matter if it's positive or negative attention. Even simple things like saying no to the dog when he's jumping up on you is enough attention for getting to jump up on you again. The first things you want to do when you see the dog jumping up on you is turn your back, giving no attention. Don't look at the dog, don't touch the dog, and don't reward the dog. Also, you want to get him to do something else. Get a new behavior coming out. The dog is jumping up, ask him to sit down, so you can reward for that. The reason why Bronson was jumping up is only because he wants to say hello. So it's nothing bad from a dog's point of view, but we want to teach him what we are looking for as a human, what we want them to do.
Book your free assessment with us. Go to www.kingofpaws.com.
You definitely want to teach your dog to leave it. That's essential, especially if you are in a park and there is food or there is a tissue on the ground. You want to have a simple command for your dog for not taking that things, or if he took it already, to leave it there. What we need is treats, and we need some treats where you're gonna put them on the ground and some treats that are gonna stay in your hand. Make sure that the treats on the ground is never gonna be taken by the dog, even when you finish the exercise. With Yoshi was so simple because the dog is very food motivated, and he understood quickly that leave it means he's gonna get something back.
Book your free assessment with us. Go to www.kingofpaws.com.
Teach your dog to sit and lie down is extremely important. The first reason why you want to teach a dog to sit is every time the dog is doing something that you don't like, you want to ask him to do something else. And to sit is so simple for him that you can ask him to do that instead of jumping up on you or pulling on the lead. For sure you don't want to push the dog in a sit or in a lie down position. You want to teach the dog without touching him. That's essential. If you have a small dog like Louis, you want to go down on the same level of the dog. As you could see, I'm actually on his level because it's much easier for the dog to make this as a game. You don't want to force him to do something. So go to his level and everything is going to be much simpler. Start with the sit and then you can move on to the lie down.
Book your free assessment with us. Go to www.kingofpaws.com.
Lena has a mind of her own. You don't know what she's going to do next. But that's fun, that's a good thing. It's great when you have a dog that is so reactive, so you can get him to do something positive instead. Pulling on the lead is actually one of the biggest problems for most of dog owners. But you have to realize that dogs have a completely different pace and they go much faster than us. The first thing you want to teach your dog is slow down. That's what we want. Stop pulling is going to come with time. In order to teach a dog to slow down, we need to create some sort of interest so that the dog can stay beside you, and understanding that being beside you is much better. Every time that your dog is pulling on the lead, what you do not want to do is pulling him back. Otherwise, you're actually just teaching him that pulling is the right thing to do. So you want to stop and get the dog to come back to you. It must be his choice, not yours. You could see how quickly the dogs change and they start walking beside me because there was something positive. They were walking beside and they would get a treat. And the treat doesn't always have to be food. Sometimes just a good pet telling me he's doing good is enough.
Book your free assessment with us. Go to www.kingofpaws.com.